Hello everyone, I'm Relay and welcome to a new episode of 999. I just saved the game, but obviously I'm not going to quit now. Junpei and his companions ran out the casino and into a large open room. A room, in fact, that they had been in once before. There was a little surprise to them there. They already knew what their next step had to be.
This way!
Oh, there was okay. I thought it said a little at first. I thought like something new was there, but it's not like there was no surprise. Okay, this way. The iron gate still stood in place, locked tight, blocking the stairway, and right in the center of it,
The keyhole with the Venus symbol. The Venus key should work here.
wasting no time, he pulled it out and shoved it into the keyhole. He turned it. With distinct sound of metal on metal, he felt the lock click open.
It sounds like it did. Alright, let's get this thing open.
No problem. Let me help with this one.
Junpei grabbed the handle on left side and Seven took the handle on right. On Junpei's signal, they both pushed and the gate creaked open.
It sounds as though you have opened it. We should be able to reach C deck now, I imagine.
Snake, are you gonna be alright? I mean, the stairs.
Please, do not do yourself the embarrassment of underestimating me. I would be unlikely to trip even if I were running backwards.
Good to hear. Let's move.
At Seven's words, they leapt onto the stairs and jumped quickly down them. By the way, Snake is a really cool guy. I like him. I'm glad that he is still alive in this route. And I'm glad that the route he died in was just a bad end. I hope he doesn't die in the true ending or something. So far my favorite characters are Clover and Snake, I guess. I like Ace as well. And then who else? I like Santa a little bit, not that much. And then I guess there's June, but I'm kind of suspicious of June. But I guess if she ends up being okay, I guess I like her as well. But I think my two favorites are Clover and Snake so far. Even though Clover kinda killed us in the last routes, I hope she's not as crazy as that in the other routes. In no time at all, they found themselves on C deck.
Everything looks okay here.
We should check the next deck down, just in case.
When he reached the water, he called back up Snake and Seven.
Just what I thought. D-deck is completely underwater.
Just like the bottom of the central staircase.
The surface of the water below them was flat, like a mirror.
I'm just glad the water level hasn't changed much.
Back to the C deck then.
Now, how about we check out what's here?
They began searching around and taking stock of what was on C deck.
There are two elevators over
Okay,
there, which means it's probably the same upstairs.
Okay, these are the elevators they saw on the other routes.
There's a card reader between them.
Since I record this episode with a long pause in between, I kind of forget the details like that, so that's why I was confused and thought those elevators were these ones in the last episode. Anyway, there's a card reader between them.
And another weird mark.
Hey, check it out. It's the symbol for Lotus.
What?
See? It's got the woman symbol, and then it's got the devil horns, right?
Okay. I thought it was actually a symbol called Lotus at first, and then okay, this is funnier.
Yeah, I see it. No two ways about it. That was a pretty good one, kid.
Seven tousled Junpei's hair in what he likely thought to be a friendly manner. Junpei feared his neck might break, even though it was clear Seven had kept his strength in check.
Oh, would you watch it, man? Whew, that hurts. You're gonna break my neck.
What are you talking about? The human body ain't that weak. Maybe this'll toughen you up, huh?
If we were looking for a devil, we've got one right here.
Thankfully, Snake interrupted. After Junpei's observation, he'd gone over to examine the card reader.
This is a Mercury symbol. The marks you mistook for horns are a stylized version of the wings and staff of Hermes.
Great. I don't want to imagine Lotus as being an angel. Well, I guess Hermes is not an angel. Actually, I don't know, what is Hermes? Is it a god, or I mean a goddess, or is it an angel? I don't know. Maybe it is an angel. I don't really know about this stuff, so I'm sorry.
Wings and a staff. Huh. So then, she beats you with the staff until you die and go to heaven. Sounds like Lotus, alright.
Seven shook Junpei's head even more vigorously, and the younger man began to feel as though his brain was being jostled about inside of his skull.
7! Oh, that's too much! Oh, my head!
Junpei's stomach began churning uncomfortably.
Oh, I think I'm gonna puke.
Unless we can activate this device, I doubt the elevator will function.
In other words, we gotta find a key card with a Mercury symbol on it.
So I would assume.
Let's forget the elevators for right now. How about that hallway to the left?
Whoa, there's a bunch of doors.
There were great main doors lining both sides of the hallway. They seemed to stretch on forever, and all three now suddenly felt very small.
Ah, shit. We're not gonna have enough time to check all these, are we?
Maybe we can come back here later. We should check out the other side. Let's head back.
To the right of the stairs, another hallway stretched out, reaching deep into the bowels of the ship.
To the right this time.
After a few moments of moving briskly down the hallway, they emerged into an area roughly the same size and shape as the one at the top of the stairs. On the left side of the room were 4 French doors.
There are doors here too. Well, I guess it's just 4 this time.
Let's open them up, starting with the closest one there.
Okay, I'm on it.
Junpei nodded and grabbed the one closest to him. He gave it a small tug and felt it move.
Huh, it isn't locked. I'm going to open it.
Thrilled to have found another unlocked door, he threw it open. Is the another escape room already, really? Junpei didn't know what to make of what he saw. Oh, okay, it's... Okay, good. It's not an escape room, it's just the hospital we saw in the previous route. He simply stood, unable to speak. Seven's eyes opened wide and his mouth gaped. After a few long moments, Seven at last managed to speak.
Hey, what is this place? It's so huge. And empty.
A massive room stretched out in front of them, more a cavern than a room. Its vastness was oppressive, and it bore down on Seven and Junpei. It was not empty, however. The entire room was filled with lines upon lines of beds. They were simple things, little more than pipe and tin mattresses.
Oh, there are beds everywhere.
Is this a hospital? The harsh scent in the air is reminiscent of antiseptic solution.
I think so. There are shelves in the center of the room with medicine and surgical tools.
Hey, look there. The 4 doors at the end.
3 of them were emblazoned. 3 of them were emblazoned with large single-digit numbers made with thick red paint.
The left door says 3. The second door is blank, but the third has a 7. And the rightmost door is 8. There's no doubt. They're numbered doors.
Hey, why's that door between 3 and 7 blank? Does that mean anything?
No point worrying about it right now. Let's see if these will open first.
Yeah, good idea.
The 3 of them threaded their way through the beds toward the back of the room. Upon reaching them, they proceed to investigate each door in turn, but to no avail. Of course, the blank one does not mind. Okay. Well, the numbered doors obviously won't.
Yep, locked.
Yeah.
Just like I thought.
Since, you have to activate the red.
Naturally. After all, there are rules to the nonary game, and to allow these doors to open easily would violate those rules. Unless we can authenticate ourselves with the red, the numbered doors will...
Whoa, check this out.
Suddenly, Seven spoke up, interrupting Snake.
Look at the red. There's nothing on it.
Oh yeah, we saw this on the previous playthrough as well.
Huh?
Don't you remember the red back at the main staircase? If there wasn't anyone in it, it said vacant on the little screen, remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
But this one,
There's nothing.
right? You think it's broken?
Only one way to find out.
No, nothing.
Junpei and the others put their hands on the panel, but nothing happened. The red refused to change. They tried pulling the lever and still nothing. As they soon discovered, it wasn't only the red on door that... Okay, I watched that, sorry. As they soon discovered, it wasn't only the red on door 8 that seemed to be malfunctioning.
How about the red on door 7? And door 3?
I didn't think all of them would be malfunctioning.
What does it mean?
They've gotta be broken. Man, that bastard. I didn't think Zero was the kind of guy who'd screw around with something like this.
Whoa, whoa, Zero's been prepared for everything so far, and you're saying he's gonna make a mistake now?
Well, that's the only thing I can think of. This thing ain't working at all.
While Junpei and Sam talked, Snake busied himself with examining the red. After a time, he lowered his hands and spoke.
It seems as if some of the internal hardware has been removed.
Internal hardware?
That is what I said. Take a look at the underside of this red, if you please.
The bottom?
Junpei obliged and bent over to look at the underside of the device.
Huh, there's a thin slot here. I think it's a slot for something. Probably electronic.
The other two reds are the same. Something's been removed from all three of them.
I get it. So the reds aren't working because somebody pulled out their guts.
So I assume.
But why? And who? I mean, it really doesn't make sense.
I have no idea. Why on earth would I know something like that?
Just then, they heard the sound of a door opening.
Oh, what now?
The three of them turned and saw... Akane! Oh, no. Junpei thought. It's...
June!
Yeah. She stopped short, surprised to see them, and was very nearly bowled over by the rest of her companions, who were coming through the door behind her.
Ace! Santa! Clover! And Lotus!
And Lotus, of course. I was just expecting him to say, expecting him to be like, Ace, Santa, Clover, and Lotus. But he talked exactly over Lotus as well.
Guess everyone's here.
Junpei and Seven were, for the moment, at a loss for words.
What are you guys doing?
Why are you...
That's my line?
Perhaps we should exchange information.
After a moment of silence and surprise, everyone suddenly began to talk, desperate to change. Okay, I'm sorry. Desperate to exchange information. They talked about the rooms they'd been through and how they'd ended up in the same place. Of course, none of it was very useful information, but that hardly mattered. They were happy to simply see one another again. Although the level of cheer varied greatly from person to person, each one of them was wearing some manner of smile, almost as though they had already forgotten about the death of the night man. Yeah, that was kinda recent, right? At this point in the game. Since we already played another route, it seems like a very long time ago, especially since I played these games with like weeks in between. I mean, record these videos with weeks in between, so it seems like and is like a year ago that the Nightman was well, not killed, he died. It's like a year since I saw that. So, but to them it's like an hour at most, I think. No, thought Junpei, perhaps that wasn't it. Perhaps thoughts of his death were what drove them to smile at one another. Nothing morbid or hateful, no. The Nightman had died, but they were still alive, and that was something to be happy about. A sort of simple, uncomplicated joy, Junpei thought. The joy of being alive. Still alive. He felt sorry for the Nightman, but more than anything, Junpei was just happy to be alive.
And that's what we know.
With that, Junpei finished his own explanation.
Well, this isn't good. If the red is inactive, we can't keep going.
What about that big hallway? Maybe there's somewhere in there we might be able to go.
No, there's nothing there. The 5 of us had a quick look. There are plenty more hospital rooms, but nothing else.
You mean all those doors are for hospital rooms?
Yes. There are a number of individual rooms in addition to this large one.
There was a door at the end of the hallway, but it was locked.
It had one of those solar system mark things on it.
It was the Jupiter symbol.
Jupiter.
I wonder what it means.
Confusion seems to be the consensus.
While we're asking what things mean, what's the deal with this room? I mean, I thought this was a cruise ship, but I can't imagine a cruise ship would have a hospital like this.
No one, not even Snake, appeared ready to offer an answer until Seven unexpectedly spoke up.
Well, I figure it's probably a hospital ship. Chances are it's the Gigantic.
Oh.
The Gigantic?
Junpei looked at Seven, shocked both... Junpei looked at Seven, shocked both by his knowledge and the apparent identity of their person. He was not the only one.
What is this gigantic?
Seven nodded to others and began to speak.
The Gigantic. She was a sister ship to the Titanic, built in the early 20th century.
I probably should have looked this up when it came up in our previous playthrough. I don't know if this is real or not. I didn't really look up any information about Titanic in my life. I didn't even watch the Titanic movie. So yeah, I probably should have looked up if Gigantic was real or not, but yeah, I guess I'll do it later if I don't forget.
Actually, the Titanic had 2 sister ships, and they looked exactly the same. The Gigantic was said to be one of them. They intended to make her a passenger liner like the Titanic, but World War I began soon after the ship launched. The British Navy took her over and made her a hospital ship. At some point during the war, the Gigantic was damaged by a German mine in the Aegean Sea. She ran aground afterwards, so she didn't end up sunk. What happened to her after that? One theory going around is that a man named Lord Gordain bought her. Seemed like he'd been one of the few to survive the Titanic sinking. That trauma turned him into some kind of obsessive collector of all things related to the Titanic. Soon enough, the guy wanted the Titanic itself, which was impossible, of course. It's stuck at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, but the Gigantic wasn't. And seeing as she was identical...
So you're saying this Lord Gordain bought this ship?
Yeah, at least I think I am.
That's impossible. No way we're in some boat that's almost 100 years old.
Pipe down, just pay attention. What, that's it? Well, have you got any proof?
Proof?
Proof that this ship is really the Gigantic.
These are the same scenes, right? Same as the previous one. Well, I'm not going to skip them because there are additional text since we are now playing in novel mode, so I'm just going to skip. But looks like these are the exact same as the previous playthrough, right?
Well, this ship's got stuff that's like the Titanic and a hospital ship. So, I just figured...
Oh, for goodness. Don't tell me that's your only reason.
No, I've got more.
Like?
Well, I mean...
Sam looked around desperately, doing anything to avoid meeting Lotus's piercing stare. He scratched his head for a moment, then gave up. Finally, he opened his mouth.
I don't know.
Lotus sighed and shook her head.
I guess your memory isn't back yet, is it?
Yeah. Sorry.
Then, almost as if to save Seven from further embarrassment. Oh. A bell began to ring from far away.
Huh. A bell.
Was this in the previous playthrough? I think it was. I can't really remember though.
It sounds like the clock in the main stairway.
Junpei counted each chime carefully.
10, 11, 12. 12.
It's midnight. Then we've still got 6 hours left, right?
Let's get going. We gotta find the missing parts for the Reds.
What do you mean, find? How on earth do you propose we do that?
We've looked everywhere in this room,
They had been examining the room as they told.
but we haven't found anything.
Right.
That only leaves one place to look.
One?
Well, not just one.
Huh?
Wait. Don't tell me you mean we need to search all of the other rooms.
Well, you already checked some of them out before you came here, right?
We each checked a single room, so 5 rooms in total.
Alright then, that's 5 rooms we don't have to search. We just have to split up the rest between the 8 of us. If each of us can do 6 rooms apiece, we'll have the other 48 rooms cleared in no time.
When did you even... When did you count them?
There are 48 other rooms.
Lotus did not seem excited by the prospect. Seven fidgeted nervously before responding.
Just maybe?
After some... okay, voice crack, sorry. After some discussion, the 8 of them decided which rooms to begin with, and in what order they would go. Junpei was chosen to search the rooms on the starboard side, moving from 4 to what?
Alright, so everyone knows which area they're searching?
Yeah.
Yes.
They also determined when they would return to report their findings, the next time the clock sounded time. When it did, they would meet back in the large central room full of beds.
We'll all meet up when the clock goes off again. How about in that room with all the beds?
Yeah. Sounds straightforward enough.
If, during their search, any of them were to locate the missing components, they were to yell for the others.
I'll shout if I find any of the components we need.
I hope we can find them within the time limit.
If this strategy failed, they returned to discard. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why, but
If we can't, then we'll just have to come up with another plan.
I really can't talk today. Okay, let's try this again.
Right.
Whoops.
Then let's do this.
I accidentally enabled auto mode and the text is gone. Well, I guess I'm not going to read that. The deal I'm sorry. The details decided they'll have to begin searching. Out into the hallway they went, each to the rooms they'd been assigned. However, from far away, Junpei heard the bell ring. It did so only once. It was 1 a.m.
It's 1. I better get back to the others.
He jogged through the entrance of the large hospital room to find 6 of the others already there.
Huh?
Is Snake dead again? Fuck. Shit. Fuck. I hope he's not dead. Ace, Santa, Clover, June, Seven, and Lotus. They had gathered in front of door number 8. Or perhaps to be accurate, they had gathered in front of the red next to door number 8.
What are they doing over there?
Had one of them found the missing piece?
What happened, guys?
It was June who answered him.
Jumpy, look!
She was pointing at the red. He pushed through the others until he stood in front of it. Fuck. Immediately he knew what she had meant.
Vacant?
Junpei sighed.
Come on, guys. Who was it? I thought we were supposed to yell if we found it.
Well,
Junpei wondered why she was hesitating. The others looked as confused as June, but kept their mouths shut.
What the hell? What is up with you guys?
They all knew something he didn't, and Junpei was not about to leave things that way. Finally, Lotus frowned and spoke.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know.
You don't know.
When I got back, it was already like this. There was no one else here. That means I was the first one back, but the missing parts were already back in the red.
What? Let me see.
Junpei looked at the bottom of the red again, just to make sure. The slot had been open on the bottom, was now covered with metal.
You're right. It's in there. What about the other 2?
They're the same.
Let me take a look.
Junpei quickly examined the other 2 boxes.
It's just as you said.
Satisfied that they were also repaired, but still very confused, he returned to the others.
Alright, I just want to be sure here. Nobody has any idea what the hell happened here, right?
Correct.
none.
Ace and June nodded silently. Sam raised his hands as if to say, "Not me!" and Sanda just shrugged. And yeah, Snake is missing and Clover already noticed this. Only Clover lowered her head and did nothing.
Huh. Wait a minute.
That was when he noticed.
Where's Snake?
Snake wasn't there. Junpei swept his eyes across the room a second time, but Snake was nowhere to be seen.
Does that mean that he found them?
I've no idea. There's nothing to suggest it, but nothing to suggest he didn't either.
I don't suppose we'll know until we can ask him in person.
Well, whatever he did or didn't do is pretty damn late. What the hell is he up to?
That's the thing, you won't be able to ask him in person.
Maybe he's lost.
Yeah, well, that seems likely. Dude can't see. I don't know how he gets around in the first place.
Clover raised her head.
No! That's impossible!
Suddenly she was shouting.
Yeah, my brother's blind, but he's got really great hearing. He can get around as well as anyone who can see. So he couldn't get lost. That's impossible!
Clover had started to shake, and the knuckles of her hands had gone white. She spun around, but before she did, Junpei noticed tears welling up in her eyes.
I'm gonna go look for him!
The words were barely out of her mouth when she began to run.
Hey, hold on, Clover. Wait!
Junpei cried out to her, but he was too slow. He kept going, and before anyone else could react, she was gone.
Well, that didn't work. Damn it. What should we do now?
Well, the red is working now.
No! We're not leaving two people behind! We should go look for them!
Oh man, this ain't good.
Oh, yes, what an excellent idea. We just wasted a bunch of time looking for some piece of electronic junk. Now let's waste some more by looking for a couple of idiots.
So in the last playthrough, Clover thought Snake's killer was Seven and Santa, right? And now Santa is saying this, huh? Kinda sus.
Then remain here if you feel you must, but there's no time. We've only 5 hours left.
Junpei and the others nodded to one another and took off at a run. In front of stairs that led to B-deck, they decided to split up.
Let's split up.
All right, I'll take this direction.
I just want to, wait, what? I just want to look at the flowchart again. Let's see how we are going. Okay, so this is going to split up again at some point. And these are locked still, huh? Weird. Okay, so I guess we are going to split off again. I guess that's which door we go to here. Huh. I guess we should... Actually, I don't know which one is which door, so... sorry. I guess we'll just choose whatever and, yeah, continue playing to one of these routes.
Then I shall look that way.
I'll be over here.
See you all later.
Soon only two of them were left. Those two were Junpei and June, who had been a few steps behind the others.
All right, we should go too.
Yes, let's go! But where should we start?
Let's see.
Ah. Okay. Let's search the casino.
How about the casino on B deck?
Okay, let's go, Jumpy.
Well, how do you know there was a casino? I thought you would be a bit more surprised, like, ooh, a casino or something. I actually, never mind. They exchanged information earlier, right? Okay. Never mind. They took off up the stairs at a run. They took off up the stairs at a run. Okay. Before they knew it, they were there. So was Lotus. She was leaning against the wall, examining her nails.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
She glanced up at him, unimpressed.
Isn't it obvious? I'm looking for Snake.
I'm just not seeing it.
Really? Maybe you need to look harder.
I don't think that's the problem.
Oh, by the way, I've got a proposal for you two. Care to hear it?
Yeah, it's the same proposal as earlier, I guess. Yeah, we can refuse and leave this time, right? Yeah, let's choose another. Because it's an option we didn't do before.
No, that's all right. Let's go, June.
Junpei tugged Junpei tugged June's arm and led her quickly back towards stairs.
Was that okay? You don't think we should have listened to her?
No, I've got a pretty good idea what her proposal would have been.
Yeah.
We should be looking for Snake.
Huh.
Well, where should we go next? Hey, why don't we go back to the big hospital room?
Sure, let's go.
Together they ran downstairs.
Hey, wait. That's...
Oh. On their way to the large hospital room, Junpei and June noticed Santa standing next to the number 3 door.
Santa?
Junpei paused. What should Junpei do? Oh, okay, never mind. I guess we solved this already before. Well, I guess let's do something different. Instead of talking to him, let's walk away without saying anything this time. Junpei turned around and walked away from Santa.
I doubt we'd learn anything from him anyway.
Jumpy?
No, nothing. Let's go, June.
Junpei took June and left the large hospital room. Where would they go next? Yeah, let's check this one, I guess.
Why don't we go check out the first class cabin?
All right, let's go.
They quickened their pace and headed for B deck. Outside of first class cabin, they found Clover. She was standing in front of the wall. She was staring at a meaningless point on the wall, her eyes blank. What should Junpei do? Yeah, let's leave her alone this time, I guess. Something told Junpei that Clover probably wasn't in much of a mood to talk. He leaned over and whispered quietly to June.
Maybe we should leave her alone.
Yes, I think you're right.
They turned and walked quietly downstairs. Clover had driven home the misery of their... Maybe I should read these sentences. How would I say it? Maybe I should read these sentences not out loud in my mind first, and then say them out loud again, because yeah, reading them as they come kinda results in me messing them up. Clover had driven home the misery of their situation, but Junpei told himself that getting depressed would get him nowhere but depressed.
We really need to find Snake, for Clover's sake.
He did his best to push away the misery and depression, and forced a smile.
So, where do you think we should go next?
I guess back to the large hospital room.
Let's
again.
head back to the large hospital room.
All right, that's probably the best idea.
Together they ran downstairs.
I don't think anyone is here. What next?
Santa is gone, huh? Yeah, I
Let's
guess
go
let's
have a
check
look
this.
at the hall with all the rooms.
I'll go wherever you do. Let's go.
They quickened their pace and headed for the wall. Or bow,
Oh,
whatever.
It's Ace.
However you read it, I don't know. Oh, it's Ace. Ahead of them, farther down the hallway, they spot Ace.
Hey, Snake! Where are you? Answer me if you're there!
What should Junpei do? Let Ace handle it.
Why don't we just leave this area to Ace? We can go somewhere else.
I don't mind. But where?
Well, let's see.
I guess the casino.
Let's go take a look around the casino.
Okay, let's go.
They quickened their pace and headed for B deck.
There's no one here. Let's try somewhere else. Let's go take a look at the
Whoops,
first class
fuck.
cabin. It's really close.
I accidentally clicked that. They turned around and took off down the hallway to their left.
No one's here. Maybe we'll have more luck somewhere else. But where?
Yeah, let's go to the
How
casino
about the
again.
casino?
Let's go take a look.
They turn and head off down the hallway to their right. A joke, okay, blah blah blah.
There's no one here. Let's try somewhere else.
Oh, we already checked all of this. Okay then.
Hey, why don't we go back to the big hospital room?
Sure, let's go.
Together they ran downstairs.
I don't think anyone is...
I guess let's finish searching then. We checked almost everything. They looked everywhere they could think of, but Snake was nowhere to be found.
Snake hasn't been anywhere we've searched.
Lotus looked around at Lotus looked around at 6 frustrated faces and spoke.
And we can't keep looking for him. Wherever he is, it's not here. We need to get moving.
Junpei couldn't disagree with what she was saying. Snake seemed to have completely disappeared. There was no point wasting any more time. The others seemed to be having similar thoughts, but they stayed silent. Finally, Seven spoke.
We don't got a choice. Lotus is right. We're not gonna find Snake. There's a problem, though. We've got to figure out who's gonna go through which door.
Yes, I have a proposal.
She walked back and forth across the floor, her heels clicking against the wood. Finally, she stopped.
Why don't we decide on one person to sacrifice?
Great. Did you say this in the previous playthrough? She did, right?
Sacrifice?
Well, perhaps that's a bit of a harsh word, but yes. You've all figured it out by now, haven't you? We can't all make it through those doors. If we split into 2 teams of 4 and 3 people respectively, then 3 people will be left behind. If we split into 2 teams of 5 and 2 people respectively, then 2 people will be left behind. But if we split into 2 groups of 3 and leave 1 person out, then only 1 person will be left behind.
Leaving behind 3 people with 2 teams of 4 and 3. I guess she was right. Let's say that. It wasn't pleasant, but she was right. There was any way that the numbers worked out. If one group was 4, the other group would always have a digital route that didn't match the door. When Seven spoke, his voice was strained.
Then... you're saying we gotta decide who's gonna stay behind.
Yes, we do. Given our circumstances, it's logically and morally the best solution. If the other 6 are to survive, then 1 person has to sacrifice themselves.
No, that's too cruel.
What's so cruel about it?
To just sacrifice someone like that?
Then what's your plan? Maybe we should sacrifice 2 people instead of just 1.
That's not what I meant. We shouldn't sacrifice anyone.
I told you, that's impossible. Wake up.
Whoa, calm down, you two.
Sandra stepped between Lotus and June.
Look, what Lotus is trying to say is, you should aim to bring the greatest amount of happiness to the greatest amount of people, right?
Exactly. That's how democracy works. And for that reason, I think the only fair way to decide who will be sacrificed is through a vote. What do you think?
No, that's terrible.
I'm not asking you. Shut up. What about you, Santa?
Me? Well, I agree, I guess.
All right, that's 1 vote for. Counting mine, that's 2. 7.
I can't say I agree with you, but we don't exactly have a choice. If we don't do something, we're all gonna die.
Huh, glad to see you get it. If I can get 1 more vote, then it's decided. What about you, Clover?
Clover had moved away from the group and was sitting on one of the beds. Her whole body drooped, and Junpei didn't know if she'd even heard Lotus' proposal.
Hey, Clover.
Lotus walked over to Clover and gently laid a hand on her shoulder.
Your brother has to be behind one of the numbered doors.
Well, if he went alone to one of the numbered doors, he's dead right now.
We've searched everywhere, but we didn't find him. Doesn't that mean he has to have gone through one of them somehow?
Clover's soul lifted her face.
Let's go look for him together, okay? If we sacrifice 1 person, then we can go look for him. You agree with me, right?
Okay.
Clover nodded once.
The motion carries.
Lotus spun around and walked toward Junpei.
Now, let's start a vote to...
That won't be necessary.
Ace had barely spoken for Lotus' entire speech, and everyone jumped a little. 6 pairs of eyes turned to look at him. He didn't seem to notice or even care.
I will stay. That should solve our problem, yes?
Ace, what are you saying? No, you can't do that. That won't solve anything.
June's voice shook, and she looked around desperately for someone to agree with her. Ace simply looked at her.
June, I'm afraid you may have misunderstood me. I said I would stay, but I never said I would sacrifice myself.
Huh?
I trust you. Each and every one of you. I believe you'll come back for me.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's optimistic, and then there's just nuts. Those doors only go one way. You go in, you don't come out. If we go through them.
You won't be able to return, correct?
Yeah.
True, but that will not be the case once you've escaped from the ship.
What?
Please, I beg you. Once you've escaped, come back and rescue me. Ideally, within the time limit Zero has given us.
No, that's ridiculous. There's no way we could get back in time.
Finally, Junpei could hold his tongue no longer.
We've only got 5 hours left. We don't even know where the hell we are. How on earth are we gonna find someone to come and rescue you?
Then, perhaps you would prefer to stay instead of me? Or perhaps you would be willing to leave June behind?
Fuck. Ace's voice was dignified and without a hint of cruelty or malice. Junpei had no rebuttal.
You see, there's no other choice. Then I see we've come to our conclusion. Go on. Don't worry yourselves about me. Go, quickly.
Junpei stood frozen by indecision, unable to move. June bit her lips so hard that Junpei feared she will break the skin. Santa stood against the wall, calm and aloof. Seven tore his beanie from his head and turned it over anxiously in his hands. Only Clover started to stare at Ace, with an expression Junpei was unable to decipher. Lotus's attitude, however, was different from the others.
Let's accept his kind offer then.
She smiled, her eyes bright. Ace answered with a smile of his own.
Good. I think this is the best for me. Perhaps I'll be able to take a nap. It may be my age, but I get tired so easily these days.
As he spoke, Ace lowered himself down to the floor next to one of the beds. So are we not going to see that drug scene this time? There was the scene with some kind of drug or something last time. From somewhere deep in the ship, Junpei suddenly heard the screeching of metal on metal. It was almost as if the ship were screaming. Would it really hold until their time limit was up? Already, D-Deck was fuddled. In sudden silence, the only sound was the sad metal wail of the ship. Unsurprisingly, it was Todos who spoke first.
Well, what are you waiting for? We're wasting time. Why don't we hurry it up?
As the spell had been broken, the others all began to talk at once.
You're right. We should get going. That's all we can do right now.
7.
Seriously. Honestly, I was getting kind of sick of listening to you guys talk.
You too, Santa? I have to find my brother. Wait, all of you. Let's just calm down and think about this. There has to be a way to get everyone out. There has to be. Right, Jumpy? Say something.
Yeah, let's think. There's gotta be another way.
His words sounded hollow and fake.
Fine! Forget about it. I'll figure it out on my own.
She spun around and ran toward Ace. Well, I guess this scene is here again. He had slumped down next to the bed, and June grabbed his arm and pulled.
Ace! Come on, Ace. Please stand up. You can't give up yet. We just have to sit down together and think about this. We'll figure out a way that we can all get out of here.
Then it happened. Let's do this, I guess.
Ace!
I'm doing this so that blue tint goes away, so I can maybe use these things in thumbnails more easily by combining two different images and stuff. But I probably won't use this image, but I don't know, maybe I will. June cried out and dropped to her knees beside him. She put her arm around his neck and did her best to lift him up.
What happened? Ace, say something!
I guess this scene is better. Let's do this. She shook him frantically. His eyes fluttered open.
I'm alright.
His voice was weak and slightly slurred.
How are you all right?
This.
He held out his left arm and slowly opened his hands.
A syringe?
What does it say? Soporil? In it was a syringe and a small vial. The vial was empty. It had only recently been emptied. A few drops clung to the sides. There is a label taped on the side of the container. It read Soporil Beta. Soporil Beta?
Soporil Beta. What does this do? Did you use this?
Yes. It's just anesthetic. I'll be fine.
Anesthetic.
I found it earlier, while we were searching the hospital rooms. I thought it might be useful later. I didn't think I'd be using it on myself.
Why did you do this?
Yeah, I don't really remember why he did this in the scene. I was confused last time and didn't really understand, and we just moved on. So I hope I can understand it more easily this time, especially since we are on novel mode.
Didn't I tell you? I'd like to take a nap. I really am. Very tired.
Junpei knew that wasn't why he'd done it. Ace had injected himself with anesthetic to forestall Junpei and Jun's attempts to bring him along. If he couldn't move, there was nothing they could do. He'd inject himself so that they would be forced to leave him behind.
Ace!
I see, so last time we just didn't see this text because we were on adventure mode. And that's why I got confused, I guess. I thought he was a drug addict or something at first, I don't know.
I'd just like to sleep a little. Could you keep it down?
No! Don't, Ace! Don't fall asleep!
You feel warm. So comfortable. I think I'll have a nice dream.
Ace's eyelids drooped further and further, almost as though he were dying.
Ace! Ace!
She shook his shoulder again and again, but this time he didn't respond. Only the gentle rising and falling of his chest told him he was alive. Junpei was relieved to see he was in fact still breathing.
Let's get him up on a bed.
Wasn't he already on the bed? He lifted Ace up off the floor and laid him on the bed he'd been leaning against. When Junpei turned around, Lotus gave him a look of pity.
Well, we really don't have a choice now. We can't let his sacrifice go to waste. Right?
Right.
Like you even mean that.
Yeah, that too.
You say something?
No, nothing.
It felt wrong, but he had to agree. Then suddenly Santa spoke.
Yeah, but we're not done choosing yet, are we?
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, we haven't decided who's going in what door.
Ah, yes. Yes, that's true.
Enough of this screwing around. Let's decide. You first, Lotus. Which door do you want?
I want door number 8. It's the same number as my bracelet number.
Got it. You're 8. You're next, 7. Which one do you want?
I'll take 7. I can't get along with that old lady.
What? What did you just say?
Her face was distorted by rage. Lotus took a step towards 7. He threw up his hands and made a face like a child caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
Who, me? I didn't say nothing.
Oh, you're gonna get it next time.
She shot him a glare that would have melted steel, then turned and stalked off.
Alright, who's next?
Santa's gaze moved across the treetop to the left. Finally, they stopped on Junpei.
Junpei, which door do you want?
At last, Junpei's mind was already made up. Okay, we went through 3 last time. I guess we've been talking to 7 a lot lately. We've been getting to know him, so I guess let's go along with 7 this time again. Yeah, let's choose 7, I guess.
I think I'm gonna go with door 7.
Okay, 7 it is.
Yeah.
Alright then. That means June's gotta go through 8.
What? Why?
What?
Santa grimaced and muttered angrily to himself, but finally began to
If the
explain.
6 of us are gonna keep going without leaving anyone behind, there are only 3 ways we can do it.
Plan A.
Have 3, 5, and 8 go through 7. And 4, 6, and 7 go through 8.
Plan B.
4, 5, and 7 go through 7. And 3, 6, and 8 go through 8.
Plan C.
Or 3, 6, and 7 go through 7, and 4, 5, and 8 get 8.
I'm still having trouble trying to memorize the characters' brace numbers.
There are no other combinations. In other words, 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 can never go through the same doors. You get it now?
As Santa finished, June looked over at Junpei, tears welling up at the corners of her eyes.
Oh no! You're saying we aren't gonna see each other again for a long time.
Junpei felt just as June did. He wanted to be at her side through whatever trials they were preparing to face. But he knew if they were to survive, he had to swallow his feelings. In order for the six of them to move forward, he and June had to be separated. He looked at June. He was scared to lose her, but he swallowed, steeled his resolve, and did his best to smile.
Hey, come on. You're making it sound like we're never gonna see each other again. We gotta split up, but only for a while. This is just like when we went into the 4 and 5 doors, remember? We got split up then too, but we all met back up. I'll bet 7 and 8 are just like that.
You mean they're connected somewhere?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
She didn't sound very hopeful. It was Seven that interjected.
I'm sure they're gonna connect somewhere.
Why? What makes you think so?
If they don't, then neither team can get through door 9. In other words, the game would end right here. Zero's been on top of his shit so far. I don't think he'd blow it now. I'm damn sure that son of a bitch wants to have his fun as long as possible. He's not gonna end this game until we get through the 9 door.
June said nothing. I wonder if the 9 door is gonna have a time limit. That might be kinda hard if that's the case. The tears were gone, but her eyes were still sad as they looked at Junpei. I mean, like, time limit as in the player. Like, the player has to solve a puzzle in time limit or something. He met them, and with what reassurance he could manage, laid his hand gently on her shoulder.
Everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna see each other again. I promise.
June bit her lip and gave him an almost imperceptible nod.
Yes. Promise?
Her voice was barely above a whisper. Santa's voice shattered the moment.
You guys are done, right?
He stretched and continued.
Anyway, that's pretty much it. Clover and I will both go into separate groups. I figure I'll take 8 and Clover can take 7. Any problems with that, Clover?
Also, we are going with Clover again this time. Clover looked away and was silent for a moment.
Whatever.
It was more of a dismissal than an agreement, but Santa didn't seem to care.
Alright, we're ready to go then. Let's move.
At Santa's command, the group split and headed for their respective doors. Well, I'm gonna end this episode here. It's now like 8 AM and people are starting to wake up. Like, I can hear them walk around the house, so yeah, I probably shouldn't be recording now. And it's been 53 minutes, so yeah, I'm gonna end this episode here. Let me just save the game before I do anything, just in case. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm ending the episode here. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Bye!